Hello! This video is exercise 2 in CST235. Working with Uno game once again. Basically chunking everything into an API. Go ahead and say I learned very quickly how to use the expressions section of the debugger, even though before when we had the assignment I couldn't figure it out. That's not a problem now. Me and that are very good friends. Used it quite a bit to try and figure out just why, I don't know, just why my code wasn't working. Like, I had quite a bit that just was not working. And then when I did get it working, it wasn't working properly. And uh, just a lot of yelling at the desk, but it's been figured out. Thank God. Um, I guess I'll start with the game driver as far as the changes I made there. I didn't really make too many game changes or changes to the driver. I thought about, because Mike was showing us how he had done his with the game over prints. I thought about doing that in mine. I just decided to leave it the way it was. Although, I probably will go back and actually change so that it only prints the game over one time instead of the however many times you have games repeating with every single, turn print. So I have a printout for when the player calls Uno, checking turn, which we'll go into in a second. We have the printout for the game. This is if the player had no play and the card itself is null. Basically printing out that if the card isn't null, it's going to print the card. If the card is null, it's going to print that the current player, had no card to play. That way, it's just easier to keep up with in the more simplified UI instead of just saying player, 3 and then nothing, or whatever player and then nothing. It makes it a little easier to follow. That's about it for game driver. As far as turn, I built it to, again, this is kind of similar to what Mike did, and it really worked out well. My turn is constructed with a calls Uno boolean, a game winner boolean, a direction boolean, current player number, winning player number, and then the current card, which is calling play card. I got all the getters and setters for those. There's really no need to cover that too much. Just kind of basic information on that one that we've been dealing with normally. As far as the API, so we have to have a lot of the same information from turn in the API, obviously, because we need that information to process, right? So as far as getting the game into the API, I copied most of my methods over and then modified them to make them work with this API style. I found out very quickly that my coding was not very conducive for an API. It was causing a lot of issues where it wants to capture the current player for the turn, and my wild actions were incrementing or decrementing the current player number based on the action and the direction, because that's what I had told it to do, but in reality, it was causing a miss issue with missed turns, as far as like the wrong player going at the wrong time or going out of bounds with the index. Just a lot of little things like that. So in the game class, I run initialize game. I got rid of the input for now. I just commented it out. Figured that was the easier thing to do. My hard code, I can actually move this up. That way it'd be easier to deal with. I hard code the number of players that I want in the game for now, and then it just runs through everything as normal. I commented out the system outs for printing the cards in the hands. Although I kind of like that, just because, you get to see what cards are there. I guess it's not really necessary, probably for a game where you're wanting to not see cards, probably not a good idea. But for at least testing purposes, they could be quickly re-implemented to see what's going on. So after we initialize the deck, it goes into, goes into player turns. I basically set up my wild actions in my player turns, and I combine my game loop and all that together to, not really the game loop, but the game loop is more or less get turn, and how that works, or what was within my game loop on how it worked. Next player check, it does all my wild actions and sets the players that are appropriate for those actions. And I also still have a wild action method that just doles out the cards correctly to the players they're supposed to go to. Play just plays the current card. It runs the checks to see if there's a winner or Uno. And then at the end of every turn, once it runs through get turn, it will go ahead and return a new turn that contains calls Uno, game winner, direction, current player, winning player, and play card, which goes back through turn and then ultimately back through here through our game driver through print turn, and then that's how we print our turns. So this is how I have mine set up currently. I have it spaced out because it's a little bit easier to read. So I have this one set up for 4 players, 5 games. We can see we have 5 games running. So there's game 0, no card to play. Player 1 plays an 8. Player 2 plays an 8. Player 3 had no card. Loops back around for player 0 playing reverse. Reverses back to player 3. No card to play. No, that's a 1 red. No card to play. And then we'll kind of just blow through some of this a little bit so we can see. Here we have a call for, that's going to be game 4. Actually, I need to swap those around in my print. So that'd be for game 4. That will indicate that game 4 had a calls Uno with the player. Just rerun that so I can see that again. there we go. So game 2, we have a calls Uno with player 2. Player 2 still calls Uno. Well, that's not correct. Hang on one sec. Well, after taking a second, I realized that is correct because I do have it set up to where is it? Right here. I have it to set every turn once a calls Uno has been flagged to kick it out. Otherwise, it's going to keep printing everybody has Uno, even though they didn't. So that would appear to be correct. So we got calls Uno in a different game. Game 2 again. Player 2 calls Uno. Game 0 this time. Yeah, I mean, after a lot of debugging and extensive debugging, I can safely say that everything does work as intended. We can see here, looks like game 0 is over. So I believe that would have been the last play right there on game 0. And let's see, game 1, 2, and 3 are left. Game 4, that was probably the last play for game 4. It just keeps on going until we get to all the games are over. So we're still playing game 2 here. And let's see. Yeah, finally got all 5 games finished. Do that one more time. Yeah, all 5 games finish out every time. But yeah, guess that'll do it for now. Sorry for the length. I just wanted to work through some things because I know this was kind of a semi-extensive project, so I'll try and cut it down a little bit more in the future, though. I'm sorry. Until next time, a hooey ho.